Hey, you're back with the Get Out Deck Guy. I'm Steve Rowe, the old, balding, aged Get Out Deck Guy, and with me, as always, is the ever-cheerful Damon Day, the new Get Out Deck Guy. Damon, do your thing. Say hi.
Well, now you've set the bar real high. I've got to be cheery today. It is the last day of the year as we're recording this.
I know. Well, it's going to be Happy New Year tomorrow. And I know our listeners have said this many times before, many years before, maybe every year. Every year they say, I'm going to do better this year. February comes and guess what? Nothing's changed. So why would this year be any different? Well, here's why. Because this year you got us. You got a plan. You got to be subscribed. You got to keep listening. This is not a resolution, not a vague intention to do better with money. This is your year to have an actual strategy, and we're going to show you exactly what's possible in the next 90 days. Before I forget, Damon, I'm always usually remiss in letting people know how they can get in touch with you, to talk to you and discuss things. And they can reach you at damonday.com, DAMONDAY.com. Anything you want to add before we jump in?
No, new year, new you. I sound like an infomercial.
Well, I've made a resolution not to make resolutions.
That's a good resolution.
Hey, you know what? I hit it every year. It's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. We talk about usually New Year's resolutions are people resolving to lose weight or get out of debt. The funny thing is, both of those things are so similar, right? I mean, how many times have you known somebody that, went to lose weight and gained it back?
Oh, dude, it's me. I was watching a thing on Facebook or whatever yesterday, and it was, a little, funny clip came on. It's like 30 seconds, and it's a guy running. He's jogging with his camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, 5 more days left in the year to hit my weight loss goal. And he goes, for 2025, something like, I vowed to lose 10 pounds, and I've got 5 days left. And he's running, and he goes, so I just have 16 pounds to go. trying to lose 16 pounds so he can hit his 10-pound weight loss goal for the rest of 2025.
Well, I like it when people say, I can't count calories. This calorie counting stuff is bullshit. I just can't do it. Okay, like sticking with a budget is going to be better.
Yeah.
If you can't count calories, you're not going to be counting all those pennies. Well, I can't say pennies anymore because they don't exist. And
I think it's easier to lose weight than it is to stick to a budget.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. The funny thing is, these days there's all sorts of miracle drugs that you can take to lose weight, and you can't take that to lose debt.
Oh, yeah. The ever since Ozempic came out, now there's all kinds of knockoffs coming out.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you can call them knockoffs, but other ones.
Yeah, you got Wegovy
that's all the commercials.
Yeah, the generic GLP-1s and all that stuff. If it was only possible.
Yeah.
Now, there is actually drugs that cause people to go further into debt. I remember a drug I had a reader taking, Mirapex, something like that. It was a drug for compulsive gambling for addiction issues, where the side effect was actually excessive spending. I just reread that article on the getoutofdebt.org site the other day. I think I wrote it in 2009. But
it was a weight loss drug?
No, it was a
side effect?
No, it was not a weight loss drug. It was a compulsive gambling drug.
And the side effect was
compulsive spending. I think it's called Mirapex. I'll have to look it up on the site. All right. Well, we're talking about why resolutions fail, and I really haven't had in all of my years, my 66 years, I don't think I've ever had a resolution that really succeeded. But the problem with resolutions is that they're emotional and not strategic. It's not a plan. And here's the bottom line for me, Damon. If you go to the getoutofdebt.org website, on the right-hand side, of most pages, there is a link to the money personality test where you can determine what your money personality is. Clever. And, the thing that most people don't realize is that we each have our own money personalities. And some of us are not like meticulous penny trackers. And that's me and that's you.
I'm not.
Right.
No, I'm not.
No. And so your money personality and your ability to deal with debt is informative because it tells you about, where you are emotionally, not strategically. And that is so important because when people panic and they want to get out of debt, what's the first thing they do? They make a budget. And then what's the second thing they do? They fail at their budget. And then the third thing they do is go, fuck it.
Yeah. Like I have clients that, some clients, their personality is, here, fix it.
Yeah.
Just, give me the broad strokes of what the strategy is. That sounds good. Okay, what do you need from me? Boom, boom, boom. All right, fix it. And they don't want to be really involved in it. They just, here's what I want to have happen.
Yeah.
Tell me how we have to do it. And I do it. And then I have other clients that really want to be involved. They want to know down to the very, specifics, exactly how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And they have spreadsheets and everything's tracked. And both clients can be successful.
Yes.
Right? There's no right or wrong. It's just some clients want to just have that control over that, and they're just the way their brain works. And they want to be able to track everything and see it all through. And okay, exactly what am I going to save here? How are we going to negotiate this? What are we going to do with that? And that's fine too. So, going back to your point about not everybody has the same money personality, but there's not this personality is a good one.
No.
This one's not.
No.
It's just about identifying how you think about it and then putting together a strategy that works for you.
It's about awareness. Now, in the past, I used to have a program where people's paychecks came to me and I paid all their bills and everything and helped them to save money and save for retirement and stuff. And the people who were the most appreciative and did that handoff thing you're talking about were like people in sales, artists, writers, creative types, police officers, firefighters. They just realized that was not their strongest
strength.
Yeah. And so oftentimes, a couple months down the line after they started, they would be like, you actually saved $600 for me? I've never been able to save. And
this was back in the 90s. $600 was like...
Yeah. Well, one thing I learned was don't tell them you saved money because then it had to be spent.
They'll spend it. Yeah. Where is the savings of which you speak?
I need a big screen TV.
I put it in a vault.
Well, so if it's the beginning of the year, a wish to pay off debt is not a plan. It's just a wish. And Damon, you and I have talked so long about the need when you're getting out of debt to have a plan. Doesn't have to be I'm doing air quotes, a strategic plan, but at least it has to have some sort of awareness. Like I always say, if you're going to go on a trip, at least you need to know where you're going to wind up. How you get there is up to you. My dad always had this great saying. My mom would tell him, you shouldn't turn there. You should take this route. It's better. You should go there. It's faster. And my dad turned to her one day and said, Pat, I sleep in my own bed every night. So how you get there really doesn't matter. It's where you're going that is the important point. So that's why it's so important for people to talk to you, Damon, so they can come up with a plan.
I thought you were going somewhere different with that. I always tell my wife, hey, I'm a grown-ass man. I know what I'm doing. That's my response usually. But she's being ever so helpful with direction.
So I set you up for the importance of having a plan.
You set me up for the importance of having a plan. Yes, it is important. No, I mean, at the end of the day, we got it's New Year's Day, and everybody, okay, we're going to do better moving forward. We're going to do a budget. We're going to track our money. And like you said at the beginning, by February, it's just shot to hell.
Yeah.
So we need to have a plan, but it needs to be a realistic plan based on the situation you're in. Because think about where you were last year around this time, and you probably did the same thing. Okay, we're in debt. We're going to get out of debt. That's one of my resolutions. And where are we now? For many of you, you owe more now than you did last year when you wanted to start paying this off. And what did you do last year? You set up a budget. You listened to a couple of Dave Ramsey podcasts, maybe.
Felt guilty.
We're going to do this. Yeah. And then you realize there's no way we can survive on this budget eating beans and rice. And by February, you're like, fuck it. You weren't, and now we're even worse off. So the first thing we have to do is sit down and figure out realistically where you're at and what your options are. And oftentimes just eating beans and rice and cutting expenses and getting 5 roommates in your house is not going to solve the problem. Financially, it might solve the problem, but you're not going to want to live with yourself on that kind of a plan. So we need to really figure out what options we have and how those options would affect you moving forward and make this the year of actual action.
Yeah, you don't want to have to be the one that always has to eat mac and cheese. In fact, my son-in-law just gave me a box of Kraft mac and cheese. They have a new holiday flavor out. It's apple pie mac and cheese.
What does that taste like?
I don't. It tastes like affordability, I'm sure.
We got to get merch. I'm telling you, we need merch.
Tastes like affordability. I don't know how that ever fell out of my mouth, but so by April 1st, so it's January. It'll be January 1st tomorrow, but by April 1st, we're gonna get you headed towards a plan. Just play along with us, all right? And you'll accidentally start falling out of debt. So let's say here's a 90-day possibility. Let's say you got 80 grand in, let's call it credit card debt, and you make about $10,000 a month in income. It's good money, but it's never enough. So here's what's possible in 90 days. Let's say you continue your current approach and you pay about $9 grand in minimum payments, right?
Yeah. Over 90 days, you probably end up paying $8,000 or $9,000.
Yeah. And you
80 grand. Yeah.
Might reduce the principal that you owe, maybe, I don't know, 1,500, $2 grand, something like that. So you spend,
if you're lucky, most credit card rates have bounced up with the Feds increasing the rates over the last couple of years.
Oh, I know.
A lot of credit cards are over 30% now.
Yeah, you're just not going to make any progress, really. So one thing that you could do is, if you've talked to Damon and you came up with a plan, maybe it's a strategic approach where you're going to strategically default. You're going to stop paying on those bills and you're going to try to gather money to settle those debts. That's one approach. What do you think about, we have said, so many times, talking about the realities and facts about bankruptcy. But Damon, what do you think about strategic settlement for the right person?
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. You mentioned strategic default, people freaking out. No, it's an option and it's a strategy that actually works extremely well in the right circumstances.
Yeah, you got to be prepared.
When I talk to a new client, our focus is let's figure out the strategy first. That's the thing that, you call all these places. I don't care if it's a debt settlement company, a credit counseling company, bankruptcy attorneys, whatever you call any of these debt help places. Everybody skips the strategy talk.
Yeah.
Because they already have their one strategy. So they already jump the strategy talk and go right to, here's what we're wanting to sell you and here's why we think you should do it. And the reason we think you should do it is because we sell that and I make a commission kind of a thing.
Right.
So the first thing is to be open-minded. Don't just recoil at the thought of bankruptcy. Don't just recoil at the thought of not making a payment. Just be open to saying, okay, let's talk about all these different approaches based on your current circumstances, how you got here, where you're trying to go. We'll talk about Dave Ramsey's baby steps. We'll talk about settlement. We'll talk about credit counseling. We'll talk about bankruptcy. And again, we're just talking about it. We don't need to be afraid of talking about any of these things. We'll go through pros and cons. But here's the thing. We'll go through pros and cons based on your specific situation. Now, some clients, they'll call and they'll be like, oh, I can't file bankruptcy because.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll have a reason.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And maybe they're correct. Oftentimes they're not.
Right.
But that's why I'm here, right? Now, if bankruptcy is not a viable option, my job is not to force it on somebody. Like, well, let's do it anyway.
Right.
Some people legitimately can't file bankruptcy because
Right.
they make too much money.
Right.
They can't file a Chapter 7, or they have too much equity in their house, or they have a second property or an investment property with their siblings, or there's all kinds of reasons that bankruptcy is not going to be a good option.
Or too many
But
cats.
or too many cats. But before we say no to it, we want to look at it, right? And then, so if we're going to say no to something, here's my only ask. My only ask is, if we say no to any strategy, we just want to know why, specifically why it's not going to be a good option. And then by going through that exercise and saying no to all the different options that we don't like, we will strategically arrive at the option that makes the most sense, because we've already said no to everything else. So that's step number one, is at least figure out where we need to be going this year, what strategy we need to look at, because just paying a little bit more than the minimum payment is not really a strategy. You've tried that how many years before?
Right. And here's where it's more applicable to one person than another. So if you're just limping along, you're not making a big salary, you're not making what you call good money, and you strategically default, you may not be able to accumulate enough money to actually settle those things. So if you're making a higher income, again, I keep using the term good money, but if you're making 10 grand a month in monthly income, and now you take 3 months off and you start accumulating money, you can build up some settlement funds pretty quickly to begin negotiating and eliminating some of those debts. So the plan also has to depend on not only how you're feeling emotionally, but realistically, what does the math tell us? Because, Damon, what is debt? It's just math wrapped in emotion.
Oh, that's where you're going, but I was like, yeah. Well, and the thing is, this is why having the conversation is very important, because people tend to always think about I can't do that because, and oftentimes it's the emotion that Steve just mentioned that gets in your way.
Right.
Your emotion about something is getting in your way, because the first pushback I always get is, I can't strategically default. It's going to hurt my credit. That is a valid concern.
Yeah.
And that's something we can discuss. We can work through pros and cons. And one of the things I always talk to people about is, okay, you're right. If you file bankruptcy, or you settle your debt, or you do anything that renegotiates the crappy contract that you agreed to when you took out the credit card, anything that renegotiates that is going to have an effect on your credit. Okay. Now, is that the absolute, having an effect on your credit? Is that the number one priority, is to preserve your credit score?
I know.
What's that?
No.
Yeah, well, the first question I always ask is, how much is your credit score worth? Put a dollar value.
That's a good question.
On your credit score. Because everybody goes, what? I'm like, put a dollar value on it. How much can I buy your credit score for?
Yeah.
And they don't have an answer to that. But I go, okay, so if you're shelling out, going back to Steve's example, $3,000 a month, every month, that you can't afford just to preserve this 600 credit score, 650 credit score. And a lot of people's kind of, funny is not the right word, but they're so deep in debt that they're not behind on anything, but they've got so much debt that their score has dropped into like the mid 600s, which sucks anyway. But they're so focused on wanting to protect that 650 credit score that they couldn't even really get another loan if they wanted to. And I go, well, how much is that credit score worth to you? Is it worth paying $3,000 a month? You're going to shell out $36,000 this year because you're afraid of your score dropping down to 630 from 650. Does that make any sense? If I had $30,000 in this hand and a good credit score in this hand, which one would you choose? Right? So if you've got 80 grand in debt and we can knock that out, say you can't go bankrupt. Even if you could go bankrupt and you could wipe out that 80 grand for nothing, or a couple $1,000 to pay the attorney. And I said, you got a savings of, and it's not a savings of 80,000, because you don't owe 80,000. You owe the future value of all the payments you're going to have to make to pay off that 80,000. So depending on interest rates and how much you're actually paying, you could very easily be paying 150,000 to get out of 80 grand in debt. So if I had $150,000 cash in one hand and a mediocre 675 credit score, which is your credit score right now on my other hand, are you choosing the 150 cash or the 650 credit score and staying in debt? Nobody's choosing the 650 credit score and staying in debt.
Not once they understand it.
But they are. They are. Oh, my credit. No, the 150 cash, bro. You want the 150 cash. Trust me.
Well,
it's better.
People just don't understand how easily good credit can be rebuilt and how fast. You've heard all these myths and fears.
It's faster to rebuild your credit than it is to earn an extra 150.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shoot, it's faster to rebuild your credit than it is to earn extra 40 grand. Forget the 150.
Yeah, 10 grand.
Cash is king. Especially in this kind of an economy, cash is king. Good credit just got you into this mess. Didn't help you.
So you might be in a jam and you don't see what the math is saying, but the biggest thing to remember is that your income is your leverage. So for the right person, let's use it. But starting right now, I'm going to tell you something about your money. But also be sure that you're subscribed, because starting next week, we're going to be going through the January audit. And you're going to have some homework next week. It's not going to be painful, but your homework starting right now. So Damon, we've made it very clear that we both absolutely detest budgets. Budgets are nothing more than a page of lies. They suck. But the one thing that you can do is, rather than write down a wish list on how you like to spend your money, is we can actually start tracking how much money you actually spend. And we can do that right now. You don't need a spreadsheet. You don't need a computer. You don't need an app. You need a piece of paper and a pen. And at the end of the day, just write down, it's non-judgmental. Just write down kind of what it was for, like I bought coffees out or something like that, and how much you spent. You don't have to total anything up. We're going to do that at the end of the month. And then we will figure out exactly where the money goes. Again, totally non-judgmental. But here is what I found over my 30 years, Damon, is that typically people underestimate their debt by about 20%. And typically they overestimate their income by about 20%. And here's the kicker. When people just write down what they spend, they tend to reduce their miscellaneous money that vanishes by about 20%. It's nothing tricky. It's just 3 seconds of awareness. But by the end of that time, you ask your clients to, keep track of their money for a little bit too.
We have to have a place to start.
Yeah, we need some facts. and then from that, that's just math used to make a plan. Again, it's totally non-judgmental.
Yeah, and just awareness changes your spending habits.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it, knowing that it's something you're going to do. It's just kind of like the same way if you pay for something, you're more likely to do it. Or if you have a gym buddy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're okay, we're going to go to the gym 4 days a week, and you're doing it by yourself. That's your New Year's resolution, right? and you'll probably stick to it for a couple of weeks, maybe a month, but eventually that early alarm gets hit. The snooze gets hit.
Yeah,
quite a bit. But if you're meeting a friend at the gym and you have an obligation and they're going to be there waiting for you, you are much more likely to drag your happy ass out of bed and get to the gym, because you don't want to disappoint your friend. Like you're okay with disappointing yourself much more than disappointing a friend.
You see, that's a much better strategy than Pam and I had 40 years ago when we were living in Florida, because we decided that we were going to go to the gym every day, but as a reward, we would stop at Steak and Shake on the way home.
Well, you guys were just in cahoots.
Yeah.
What you needed, you had an accomplice in Pam.
Yeah.
What you really needed was somebody like me. And that's a lot of what I do too. Obviously, we're going to go over the specifics, but just my clients have, not that again, I'm judging them, but they know they're going to be reporting back to me. Mm-hmm. So just that knowledge of, even if it's subconscious, well, I don't want to disappoint Damon. We had this plan. I'm going to be doing this, this, and this, and I need to set aside this $2,000 or whatever it is. I don't want to have to call him back in a couple of weeks and be like, so what happened was,
Yeah.
and I only have 300. Now, sometimes that happens, but, we roll with it. We roll with the punches here, but just having somebody in your corner that's walking this journey with you that you have to be accountable to,
Mhm.
even if it's a non-judgmental accountability, even if your friend wouldn't judge you for hitting the snooze button and not making it to the gym, they would be disappointed. Same kind of concept. You're not doing this alone. You're doing this with somebody that knows how to do all this stuff and is going to be your partner through this. So you have somebody to help keep you accountable, even if you would not be accountable to yourself in many situations.
Our podcast comes out every Thursday. And next week, it's going to be all about the January audit, knowing what your real numbers are. The week after, it's going to be why just paying more is terrible advice for most situations. In the meantime, you're going to be gathering your numbers. You're going to be creating that spending plan on a piece of paper, writing down the categories, writing down the amounts. And then you will learn how that $10,000 monthly income is going to be your absolute biggest asset if you're making good money and you got some money coming in. And then finally, we're going to talk about what actually happens at the end of 30 days. By the end of January, you'll know exactly where you stand and what the plan is going to look like. That's a reasonable approach, I think.
Yeah, we're going to have to start adjusting our numbers because $10,000 is quickly becoming not really good money anymore.
God, I went out to breakfast this morning.
$10,000 is becoming getting by.
I went out to breakfast this morning with my aunt and uncle, and we didn't go to any place fancy, right?
You had to get a new credit card?
It was $66.
Oh, that's cheap. 3 of you?
Four of us.
Oh, 4. Well, that's really cheap then. $66. Dude, I can't even take my kids to McDonald's for $66.
I just cannot believe how expensive everything's been. And I guess it hits me even harder because I don't eat out necessarily that much. And it's only because I enjoy eating at home.
No, it's great. And this is where I have to get my clients off this whole thing of blaming themselves. It's always good to analyze how we got to where we're at and do better moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying everybody is blameless. I mean, we all make decisions and a lot of us make conscious decisions that, I'll put it on the card and I'll deal with it later.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We also only get one life. And I'm a big proponent of, living your life and enjoying the time with the kids while you have it and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're also looking at a situation where a lot of this is out of our control.
Yeah.
In terms of how fucking expensive everything is.
Yes.
That's not in our control. And what I've noticed is, and I'm not picking on Dave Ramsey, but his plan and strategy has not changed.
No.
He's saying the same thing today as he was 10 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago, it was a lot easier to Dave Ramsey your way out of this crap.
Well, and the thing is, if you set yourself on a 5-year plan, your expenses are going to be going up every year. It's only going to get more difficult every year. So your chances of succeeding at something like that diminish.
Everything is different. I mean, the advice that people should be getting today is so different than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Hell, even 5 years ago, with as fast as prices are rising, as fast as the marketplace is changing, we've got AI coming on board.
Wages are flat.
Yeah, people not only flat, but people losing jobs. People that thought there's no way I'm going to lose my job. I'm really intelligent. I make good money. I'm this, and this. And all of a sudden, AI can replace you. Or AI can replace at least part of what you do.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're not as valuable. And it's just a lot of people are going to be having their income flipped on their head in the next 10 years because of this AI shift. I mean, it's just the whole platform of our society is basically changing.
Oh, fast.
And one thing I will tell you is it's harder to adjust to the change when you're in debt.
Yeah.
Now, 2026 is the year you need to just get out of the. I don't care if we're filing bankruptcy, we're settling it, whatever it is. You've got to get out of the debt and you've got to start building up. If you have a good job now and you're making good money and you're spending it all, you're gonna be in trouble. We have to be, while you have a good job, while you're making good money, we need to get out of the debt so you can start saving the money yourselves. You're just letting the rich get richer at this point, paying all this interest. Sit down and add up how much interest you are paying every month and realize that could be just going into your bank account. We need to make this change now.
I mean, stop thinking of yourself as being bad with money. I mean, you're not. You're in a debt situation that requires a strategy, not willpower. You have to remember, debt isn't a character flaw. It's a math problem. And math problems can be solved. There are solutions. So you've solved complex problems in your career, whatever your field is. And this is solvable too, especially you got someone like Damon in your corner. The reason I keep telling everyone to call Damon and go to damonday.com is because I did that for decades. I'm retired from that.
You went to damonday.com for decades?
For decades, I went. Now I went to getoutofdebt.org, but I helped people for decades. And, I did all the calls and all the strategies and everything else. And I had all the meetings with people who would bring me their spending plans. They go, Steve, what do you think about that? What I spent on this category? I think that's a number. Just totally non-judgmental. I did it for decades. Now, you need somebody to talk to? Go to damonday.com. It's funny, Damon.
Did you just put a candy in your mouth in the middle of the podcast?
Oh, yeah. I have a Toblerone bar here.
I just see you over there struggling to eat or struggling to speak.
Well, I got caught on the
Did you think I was
nougat.
gonna go longer?
Yeah. I got caught on the nougat.
The nougat.
I love Toblerone bars. I'll tell you, man. They're made in Switzerland. They taste so much better.
It neutral?
Yeah, it is neutral. They taste so much better than U.S. chocolate. All right. So you're going to find the right approach this year. And the way you're going to do it is you need to be sure you're subscribed and you listen each week and follow the damn plan. Now, Damon, when people contact you after they've heard you on the podcast, do they have kind of a common thing that they say? Can they believe you're human?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get that a lot. I mean, it's like, oh, I'm so thankful you called me back. And I'm just a guy out here. Yeah, we do a podcast, but but yeah, they actually surprised they get me because there's so many things you see it, online or whatever, and you call in and you get some, and God bless them, they're doing their jobs, but you get a salesperson on the phone.
Yeah.
And you don't talk to the personality that you saw that you're like, oh, this guy seems to know what he's talking about. I want to call him. So when they actually do reach out and I'm the one calling them, they go, oh, it's Damon. Like, actually Damon?
That's that voice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's me. I got a dad joke for you.
Yeah. So the only difference between you right now, if you're listening and you've struggled with that, is the difference between you and someone who's debt-free is they found the right approach that works for them. And that's my gift. That's what I hope I could give every listener this year, Damon, is the gift of the right approach and get them to have a better life. Just be happier moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, just be open to doing something different because what you've been doing up to now obviously is not going to work. We need to do something different. Be open to it. We'll look at all those different options. We'll address the concerns and we'll prioritize those concerns because sometimes having cash in the bank is more important than a credit score that's only gotten you in trouble up to now.
All right. So we're not asking you to change everything today. No, the only commitment that we both have is that you listen to every episode this month. This is January 2026. Oh my God. I hate that about the beginning of the year, Damon. Getting the year wrong all the time. All right, but it's 2026.
My wife says she was just getting used to 25.
Hey, at least I don't have to write checks anymore because the first quarter of the year was me scratching the year out. So show up every Thursday for the next 4 weeks, and by January 29th, you'll start to have a clearer picture and a plan. That's all, just a 30-day commitment. You can do anything for 30 days. Deal? Deal.
Deal.
All right. If you were with us through December, you heard us talking about the holiday debt spiral and how to just survive the season. I like Damon's advice in the middle of December, which was, fuck it, it's too late. Let's just get to January. Well, we're in action mode now. So we talked about those of you who are struggling, laying awake at 2 a.m. and worrying and wondering if this would ever change. Well, here's your answer. Yes, it changes when you decide to try something different, and that starts today.
So the January series is the foundation for everything that comes this year. If you're serious about making this the year things change, subscribe now, show up every Thursday. This is the playbook. Here's one actionable item. Right now, before this episode ends, which is going to in about 30 seconds, open your notes app on your phone and write my 90-day goal. Just put it at the top and leave it blank for now. By the end of January, you'll know exactly what to put there. But start the note today, and we'll see you next Thursday.
This is your fucking year. That's what I want you to remember. 2026 is my fucking year. Not because January 1st is magic, but because you're finally going to try something that actually works. Let's do this. Let's go. See you next Thursday, Damon. See ya.
You're a financial badass. Peace.